What's up, guys? It's Chad. Welcome back to the Dorky and 40 RC channel. So what we're going to do in this series is we are going to take the box of Losi RC Nascar parts and we are going to go through everything and make sure that our build is solid and that we have the best car possible before we start trying to figure out what is going on with the cars and what the equalizers are. So let's get to it right now. In this video, we're going to focus on just the shocks because it's probably the easiest thing that you guys can do, maybe the easiest thing that you want to do before you start ripping into your car. A lot of you are new and you want to get more comfortable working on your RCs. So what you're going to need, of course, is your fluid of choice. You'll need your screwdrivers and stuff to take the shocks apart. I would definitely recommend a pair of shock pliers. It just makes everything easier. Any kind of shock pliers are going to do. And then, of course, your fluid of choice. Now, some people decide to go with 40 weight all around. Some people like to stagger, move it up to like maybe 40-60 or 60 weight all around, whatever you want to do. I'm going to go with 80 in the front and 40 in the rear, despite what I might have said already in the video, just because the cars that I felt that seem to work a lot better have a stiffer front suspension than the rear. So it's kind of weird. A lot of people won't agree, but I haven't tried it yet, and so it's something that I'm going to try, and we'll see how it works. If not, it's an easy swap. We can just move front to back, back to front, and we're all good. So let's go ahead and get to it right now. All right, so a few key things that you're going to need, of course, is your shock oil, your shocks. Some kind of shock pliers is definitely going to help, and then at this step, I would like to know all of my shocks have the same stroke length, which is the amount of shaft that's showing. So you want to take a pair of calipers. You'll have to run your collars all the way up to the top, so your adjustable collars here, so that way you can get the bottom of the spring buckets off, and then you can get your spring buckets off, and you can get your springs off, and then there is your shock. Now what you want to do is just take your calipers and just go ahead and measure from the top of the spacer to the top of the bottom of the shock cap in there. And you want to get this about as close as you can get. Make sure you're duplicating your measurement at all on all four of them the same way, like how much tension you're putting on these, because this is really going to make a pretty big difference as far as how you adjust your ride height and your tension. So all of mine are around 7.75 to 7.8. So it's pretty close. That's kind of where I'm at right there. So if I wanted to, I would basically, it's really difficult to do with a pair of shock pliers because they're so small. So you might need to use like a paper towel and a small wrench, and you would hold the shaft and you would turn the turnbuckle here either way. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this bottom cap is sealed up really good. Then take your shock pliers, and you got to be careful handling these shocks. The plastic on them and the threads are pretty good, but you don't want to like over tighten and over hog everything. So get your shock cap loose a little bit, and then go ahead and unscrew it, and then we'll see how much oil is in this shock here. And I don't think there's much in there. You can end up seeing that. So we're going to get about as much out of these as we can. Now, when it comes to filling your shocks, I know some people might have already like 3D printed a shock stand or something. I'm just doing these quickly with the video by hand, and that's good enough for me. It's supposed to be a fun little class, even though it's very aggravating. And what we're going to do is we are going to fill this thing literally all the way to the top, almost where, if not where it's spilling over the sides, because we want as much oil in here as we can, because we are going to displace all of this oil and fill it. So the first thing you need to do is just hold your shock and take your piston, and don't go all the way up to the top. Go about halfway up, maybe 3/4, and push it up and pull it down real fast. And what that's going to do is just kind of suck all of the air and oil back underneath the piston. And at this point, you might have to put a couple more drops in And you can see that we've got oil starting to spill over the sides, which is fine. And now we're going to take our shock cap and get ready to screw it back on. You can put a little oil in there if you want to make a little bit more of a mess. It's not really going to help in this situation. So we are going to run the piston all the way up slowly, and you can see the piston coming up, and now it is all the way up. And what is going on is the spacer is allowing the piston from coming all the way to the top to bridge the gap. So now we've got just this big bubble of oil right there. And now we are going to lose some of that. We're going to put the cap back on, and we are going to start to thread the cap back on with the shock cap all the way pushed in, and oil is going to start squeezing out. It's starting to get onto my hands. And then what's going to happen is, as we use our shock pliers and tighten this back down, we're going to hydrolock these things a little bit. So we are going to trap some air in there, which is fine for right now. So get these tight. Don't over tighten them because you can strip them. So just wait until they're snug. And you can see that we've got a little bit of oil, and we have some rebound, of course, coming out of there because we kind of trapped some air in there. So at this point, what you want to do is unscrew the bottom cap just enough where you can push the shaft back down in a little bit. And your bottom cap might be on there pretty good. It might not be. Mine is on there very good right now. So I'm going to just crack it easily here. And you want to just undo it a little bit where you can push this shock down and you can get it to stay. If you're stuck right here, that's not good enough. So we want to go all the way down and bleed that from the bottom now. And then go ahead and tighten the shock cap back up. And that should give us what we are looking for. Now we can cycle the shock a few times and measure the amount of rebound that we have. So that is feeling good. And you can see we have literally no rebound. If you do get more rebound, like out to there, what you want to do is repeat the same process again. But you want as dead of a shock as you can with oil inside, and then that's it. So that is going to go a long way in helping your car handle better. Now, of course, it's not going to make it steer better. What it should do is when you're coming into the corners, it should set you up for success. And then when you come out of the corner and you move the steering wheel back, it should definitely help the car square up a lot better. So we can double check it just again. Eventually, you are going to get a little bit of rebound in these. I mean, these are an emulsion shock. These are an emulsion shock, which basically is fluid mixed with air. So that's what we're going to get. So we've got 4 nearly dead shocks now that we can put back onto our Losi Nascar. Now, while you have your shocks off, one of the best things you could do is get your ride height with your shock collars measured appropriately. And this is going to vary depending upon whether you're running on carpet or asphalt or whatever. What you want to do is you want to find the appropriate ride height where the car is not rolling as much and dragging. On the oval, what we notice is that the front right will collapse a lot because of the roll, and then it will drag, and we can verify this because we literally can hear it, and we've got carpet and traction compound on the front right corner of the bumper. So I found on my track, usually about 1.5 millimeters works the best to get the car as low. And then sometimes we want to run the front right down some additional turns. It's all kind of up to you. So I would say maybe a good basic setting is going to be around 2 millimeters. And then you can either go up or down from there based on what you're doing. Some people also like to stagger left to right, and they also like to stagger front to back. But these cars, with the way that there is some imbalances from right to left, the left side is definitely lighter with the right side, even with the body. It seems that the best box stock sheet is to have your front 2 the same as your rear. So just set everything up at about 2 millimeters and you will be good. And the easiest way to do that, of course, is with calipers. You got your shock collar and your shock cap, and I will zoom in here so you can see what is going on. And what we're gonna do is just measure this distance in there. So flip your calipers upside down, jam them between the top of your shock adjusting cap and the bottom of the cap, and you should be roughly around 2 millimeters right there. Now you can do this while it is on the car, but while we got them off here, we might as well do it. Again, be careful not to separate your front to back shocks while you have your stuff apart. Maybe you want to do your front shocks or rear shocks first, then your front shocks, or vice versa. So that way you know what is what and where is where. So that is going to do it for this video in the series, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please reach out for any questions or comments, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.